I was up at 4 a.m. this morning, naturally didn't have an alarm. We slept with the window open because it was a beautiful night, and the dawn chorus was fantastic. I lay there for a couple of minutes or so listening to that, then got up, got the car ready, made a flask of tea, and I'm on the canal doing some float fishing today. I've been lure angling of late and thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was saying to myself, the first blank I have, I'll switch to the float. Well, that was yesterday, and I fancied a change anyway, so it worked out quite well. Watching that aforementioned little orange tip in the water now, and I'll be back with a perch. I had to think about it then, because I'm fishing with maggot, a couple of maggots on a size 14 hook. The chances are that I could get a variety of species, a number of species as potentials during this session, but as always I do like to set my stall, so perch is the intended target. Let's see though, shall we? The float's going. Oh, missed that one. That could have been, I'm not sure. It was a fish though. Right, that's encouraging anyway. No sucked maggots. So I'm gonna put the bait back out. I've put a few loose maggots out to start with, and just as that float went, actually, I've got some crumb in there to mix up, and I'll put that out with maggots in as well. That's encouraging. The fish have moved in. I haven't been here very long. They are quite active anyway at this time of the year, and it is the canal. I am fishing with maggots, so I would be very, very, very surprised if I didn't catch anything. As far as the crumb's concerned, I have a pretty big bucket there that's got crumb in it, and then inside that bucket I have a smaller one that, as you can tell there, it's been mixed up this morning. So if you take a certain amount of ground bait or crumb and you mix it in one go, you might have a slow session and you have bait left over. You can always put it in the bait freezer, of course you can, but if you mix it as you go along, you don't have to even consider that, assuming you've got a bait freezer, of course. So for now, that's the bait that I've mixed up. It could be a session where you don't need to do any more because it's very slow. On the other hand, I could soon get through this bucket, no problem at all, if the fish are really on the munch. I like this guessing game. Not a big one, but nevertheless, it's a perch, and also it means that I am off the mark this morning. I'm fishing with a graze rod, a small Shimano reel, 4-pound Maxima Chameleon. That goes straight through to the hook. I've got a small Drennan float there, anchored by a couple of shot, which are on very, very loose, so I can move if required. Shot not too much on there because it's a small float. Shot pretty much even down the line there. Then at the end, that's the hook I mentioned. That's a Drennan Super Specialist, couple of maggots, and then my little anchor shot, just a couple of inches or so away from the hook. Right, let's get casting out again and see if I can catch his big brother. I'm sitting for the first time on a new chair as well. Very comfortable indeed. It's a high back. The previous one was quite low, not very comfortable at all. You get what you pay for. there was more than £100 price difference. But when you're sitting out there at the water's edge like I do for some considerable time, then it's nice to be in comfort. And even if it's just a couple of hours, it's still a long time to sit there. It's good to get that extra comfort in your life, isn't it? My wife said to me, it'll last you about 2 months. I said, probably a little bit longer than that, because she was just joking, of course. But fishing every day, like I do, then I could fish with a chair or some other item of tackle for 6 months. And that means I've probably fished with it for 150 times, which for some anglers, if you go out once a week, that could be 3 years worth of fishing. So I am aware that I do get through my gear fairly quickly, but also conscious of the fact that I certainly put it through its paces. Anyway, this is lovely and comfortable. I'm stretched out. I haven't even got my boots on this morning. I've still got my trainers on. It's a beautiful day, very, very dry. And I'm looking forward to some more fish on the bank, and the float dipped then, and I've got a fish. I'll tell you what, let me net this one and I'll be back in a moment. Oh, it's a small perch. I'll tell you what, just for a brief second there, I thought that could be a decent fish. However, it is just, as I say, a small perch. Very small. It shows, doesn't it, how just initially things can be deceptive. Got another bite there. The float's going, gone. And I think I might need, no I don't. I'll tell you what, these fish are pulling initially, and then you realise that you don't need the net after all. You might just to lift it out of the water in the sense of not losing it, but certainly not because of the size. Great though, aren't they? Small perch. I've got a shoal out there. I'm not complaining. Would be nice though if a bigger one or two came along. The sun's up now. I've had lots of small perch so far. I've lost count actually. And then I've just hooked into something bigger, which is this bream. I caught more bream and more perch. A very enjoyable session. Action all the way. Once the fish came on the feed, which was quite early, it was non-stop. Really enjoyed that. Visit my website. No comments here on YouTube, but you can post a message on my site. I've had a few recently. I get a little trickle of messages, and if you want to read them or obviously add to them, then head across to there. I'm on my way home now, working from home today. I've been able to secure some reduced hours starting this month, so that's all good. I'm on the right path there. And I've got the Four Tops Still Waters Run Deep album to keep me company. Well, I'll probably get about 2 or 3 tracks in because I do live quite close to the canal. Not that I'm complaining, it's all good.